References to Slavic pagan religion can be found in works of Byzantine, Arabic and German writers. The sources of the religion of pagan Slavs are quite numerous, but their religious beliefs and customs, rituals, temples etc. are described only briefly. The earliest evidence on Slavic pagan religion comes from Procopius the Gothic War, 6th cent. It's also the earliest reference to Purin in works by Procopius, who was a Byzantine scholar. He noted that the ants, corrupted form of ethnonym whence, according to some linguists, worshipped the maker of lightning, as the lord over everything and the god to whom cattle and other victims were sacrificed. It is that much of what we know about ancient Slavic religion and offerings and beliefs before their Christianization in 9 to 10th cent. The religion of the Slavs was polytheistic, i.e. they believed in many gods and goddesses, although according to some researchers it was henotheism in which one of the gods was superior to the others. The Slavs mostly worshipped their gods in the open air, in sacred groves or at tops of hills and mountains. Temples were quite rare among them. Most temples were described among the Polabian Slavs and in Pomerania. In the 19th century, the subject of pagan beliefs and mythology, then called Slavic antiquities, was often taken up by amateurs and collectors of folklore, ethnographers, collectors of songs and other ethnographic texts. They often relied on Max Muller's mythological school, which was fashionable especially from the mid-19th century. The turn of the 19th and 20th centuries marked a certain change in research, and better qualified researchers became interested in Slavic religion. Today they are called positivists and the critics, but their contribution to research is very valuable, and includes well-researched historical sources. After World War II, studies on Slavic mythology developed mainly due to the fact that Slavic researchers were inspired by the theories of Georges Dumazil. Václav Mašek was one of the first researchers who introduced Dumazil's Indo-European theories on the basis of his considerations about Slavic myths. Roman Jakobson appeared to be a very influential scientist then. He was the one who was often referred to by the Russian linguists Vyacheslav Ivanov and Vladimir Toporov, who dealt mainly with semiotics and linguistics. They were scholars of the so-called semiotic school, from Tartu, in Estonia, and tried to reconstruct the Slavic mythology with the help of comparative Indo-European material. Currently in science, on one hand, the views of Dumazil's supporters are very popular, and on the other, the views of neopositivists, quite skeptical and critical of the possibility of scientific research on Slavic paganism, persist. They sometimes recur in current scientific discussion. Mythology, as we know, is a set of stories, mythos in Greek meaning. What is Slavic mythology? Like the other mythologies, it was part of their oral literature, including myths, short novels, and poems, songs on mythological themes. But compared with other regions and myths, especially Indo-European, such as Nordic, Greek or Hindu, the Slavic one remains pretty much unknown. Probably it was full of stories about gods and demons, but we do not even know them. The mythological views of the ancient Slavs were not conveyed in such works as the Greek or Scandinavian poems, for example, Iliad, Odyssey, Edda. Unfortunately, there are no surviving writings of Slavic prayers, priests, or myths. The pagan Slavs left almost no traces of their religion and mythology. Almost all that is known of their religion comes from late medieval chronicles. And medieval writers did not consider it necessary to retell pagan mythology in their ways, since their works, chronicles etc. were created to promote Christianity, and not to repeat what was known for their readers. Generally, researchers agree that mythology as a part of oral literature was known among the Slavs as it was known for other ancient people, nations or tribes, for example, Germans, Greeks, Celts and Indo-Iranians. It is often said that the oral literature of the Slavic people is gone forever, and we probably cannot recover it from any of the surviving materials. The main theme of the i.e. religion and mythology was the deification of the earth, the heaven, the sun, the moon, the dawn etc. The gods brought order and fought against the forces threatening the cosmic order. So does Slavic mythology, one could say, because theoretically Slavic myths should be typical for Indo-Europeans, or at least be similar to other Indo-European myths. Based on this initial assumption, reconstruction of a part of Slavic mythology seems possible, comparing the other i.e. traditions. But it is not easy to collect lost myths about cosmogenesis, anthropogenesis, gods and goddesses of the Slavs, and researchers should know that reconstructions are highly speculative or hypothetical. This reconstruction seems to be possible thanks to presumption that in Slavic mythology, motifs from the i.e. mythology survived, and that the Slavic religion had a pantheon of gods similar to the other i.e. pantheons. The comparison of Slavic and Baltic and Indo-Iranian and other mythologies is especially relevant in this context. The comparison is based both on linguistic evidence, reconstructible formulas of poetic diction, and thematic similarities between different i.e. epic traditions. With the help of i.e. comparative, it seems theoretically possible to reconstruct the presumable elements of Slavic religion and fragments of their myths, for example, the most important themes and motifs of the lost Slavic mythology. The resulting forms of Slavic mythology were formed from the original i.e. basics in combination with the folktales of the Slavic people. For many researchers, dealing with Slavic mythology is like putting a puzzle together. And this parallel is striking if someone wants to compare the study of Slavic mythology to anything else. Slavic mythology studies very often are compared to reconstructing something broken, e.g. a picture. This metaphor tells us that although there is almost no data about Slavic mythology and there is no possibility of just telling some Slavic myths, because we know almost nothing about it, the situation can be compared to solving a problem. And some researchers believe that there should be the way of putting that Rubik's Cube back together. Research on Slavic mythology can take a very long time, and a researcher dealing with this issue has to go through many dangers before he finds what he is looking for. But it might also happen that he finds nothing. Because this is not an easy research area, and it often takes years to reach some constructive conclusions. In book titled Myth of the Slavs, you can read more about the Slavic myths and the reconstructions of the religion of the ancient Slavs. See you.